So today, I'm going to say the things that you need to hear if you want to lose weight, but that actually most coaches are too afraid to say in case you hurt somebody's feelings. So if you're easily offended, I probably would not continue to watch. The first one is that most of you guys are looking for quick fixes. You're turning to the next detox tea, Herbalife, Slimming World, magic pill that is going to transform your life, that is going to allow you to lose the weight that you want to without having to make very many changes. You see them as sacrifices, you're worried about what it is that you have to do, so you think, if I can just wake up and take this pill, that will be the answer to all of my problems. However, if you do those things, you will often lose weight in the short run because your calories have been so depleted. But in the longer run, they are unsustainable. You will go back to your natural baseline of eating, moving, drinking, and all of that weight will pile back on, and probably more so than it was before. So the reality is there is no quick fix. If you genuinely want to get fit, strong, healthy, happy, lean, all of those things, then you have to make the changes necessary to life. And they don't need to be groundbreaking, or they don't need to even be that hard, but they have to happen. There is no two ways around it. There is no shortcut. Point number 2 is you are not too busy to get the changes that you want. Now, I hear this time and time again. I wish I could go to the gym. I wish I could exercise. I wish I could cook better, but I just don't have the time. You do. I've never ever met anybody or had a conversation with a person that genuinely did not have the time to make the changes that they want to. And I am speaking as somebody that runs a busy business, that has 3 children, 8 and under, is trying to be a half decent wife. My husband may say I'm failing on that part. Keep the house clean and tidy, all the normal things that most of you lot are probably facing. And yet I have lost all of the weight that I wanted to, and I train and I exercise, and I'm probably in the fittest place I've ever been. The reality is that you are looking probably at around 90 minutes a week to move your bod in order to reap the benefits of toned, stronger muscles that make you feel much healthier and happier. And feel free to reply in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but I bet you everything that you spend more than 90 minutes on time-wasting activities during the week. And what I mean by that is doom scrolling on social media, watching TV, just sitting quietly, all of those things where it's time for you, and I get the need for that, but actually you could be exercising, moving your body, and getting yourself closer to your goals. Second thing I would say is that you already are eating. Therefore, if you are eating on a day-to-day basis, the time is already there, and it takes no more time to eat in a way that fits your goals. It's just learning how to make that happen. So if you know in your heart of hearts, you're watching this and you think, bum, she's seen through it, is often fear. We say we don't have time because we're a little bit frightened, we don't really know what to do, and if we've not had a transformation or lost weight before, we often perceive it to be quite an arduous process. We picture this army style boot camp, have to exercise every day, we only eat vegetables and grilled fish, and actually it's not the reality. Numero 3, you don't know what to do. And this is starting to drive me bananas. I hear this sentence pretty much every day, every conversation I have. I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. No, Sharon, you don't know what to do. Because if you knew what to do, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. And it honestly is as simple as that. I know this is a slightly ridiculous comparison. I know how to backflip, but I'm just not doing it. Yes, I know the logistics of it, and I understand which movements need to go in which order, but I can't actually string it together and make it happen for my body. So I'm not doing it because I can't bloody do it. And it's exactly the same when people are sat there and they need to lose 20, 30 kgs and they're like, I know exactly what to do, I'm just not doing it. No, you don't, because if you knew what to do, you would be able to do it because it will fit into your lifestyle and it will be pretty tickety-boo. Sometimes, I think especially actually as women, we tend to want to feel like we know what to do, we're in control, we've got this. And it's perfectly fine to put your hands up and say, I don't know what to do, I need a little bit of help here. That's how I started 10 years ago. If you've seen much of my social media before, I was overweight, I was doing all the wrong things, and I had yo-yo diet. And I thought I knew what to do. I just thought I had an issue with willpower. I thought I was unable to pull the trigger on the actions that had to happen. And I spent years going around in circles telling people I knew what to do, but I was a lazy bugger, or I gave in to chocolate too easily. None of those things were true, but I'd got myself in such a hole, I truly believed it. I reached out for help. I worked with my first coach, however many years ago that was, 10, 12 years ago. I learned, I didn't bloody know what I was doing. I learned I had things, arse backwards. I learned how to make things work in my lifestyle. And, quelle surprise, I actually started to get the results that I want to. So if anything, I think we could all do with being a bit more open-minded. You would never send, if your kids were about to start driving, you would never send them out and say, just watch a YouTube video, watch a few things, snippets on Instagram. You know what to do, just go and do it. Of course you wouldn't. You'd hire an instructor who would teach them the fundamentals properly. There's no difference when it comes to fitness and nutrition, so just be open-minded. Next, when you're doing random workouts, you're logging into YouTube, you're finding bits that float your boat, and you're jumping around in your lounge. You've heard that strength training, or if you want to call it resistance training, is a really important part of exercise, especially if you're 35 plus. So you've gone onto YouTube and you've typed in strength training for 40 plus, and then you've just followed along randomly with no real game plan in place, without really understanding what strength training truly is at its core. So strength training is all about progressive overload, breaking down your muscle fibers and asking them to grow back stronger than they were before. That is what builds muscle over time. That is what then gives you the benefits, i.e. improved energy, better ability to maintain weight, and makes it easier to stay where you are rather than gaining weight so easily during menopause. The things that you're doing on YouTube, or if you're going to a Les Mills class, a Bums and Tums class in the gym, yes, they have weights, they're cardio with weights, and it will not give you the same outcome as if you were following your own structure, recording the weights that you're doing. So for instance, you do dumbbell curls, and you're going to write down that today I did 12 reps, 10 kgs, and then you go again next week, and you're constantly trying to add reps or add weight. That is what strength training is. So the very first thing that I would tell you if you want to get on your strength training kind of journey is to walk away from generic workouts where they're higgledy-piggledy, and to get yourself a little structure together where you can follow pretty much the same movements for a number of weeks to reap the rewards. Number 5, and probably the most hot potato one of all of these, is that you make too many excuses. You might have gotten yourself into a habit where you now make excuses about things. You're tired, you're emotional, you're busy, you had a shitty week, so therefore you did X, Y, and Z. But you didn't eat that family bag of Maltesers because your boss shouted at you in the office today. You ate the family bag of Maltesers because you wanted to. And I think if we were a bit more honest with ourselves and open with things, we can call ourselves out a little bit more, and we can then start to get the progress that we want to. I am not saying that I am picture perfect and I hit every single training session and I never balls up nutrition. I absolutely do, but I'm upfront about it. I'll never say, I did this because the kids were up all night and because of X. I did it because I can't be asked today because there's more stuff going on, but the fact of the matter is I can't be asked, I made a decision, the end of it. And if you can come at things with that mentality, the whole getting healthy, fit, strong, active is so much blood easier, because the next day I have no leftover guilt or that feeling of, I've ballsed it all up now anyway, because I was up front. I just didn't want to do it today, but today I do, and I'll crack straight back on again. When you start making excuses about things that you know aren't true, and you eat a family bag of Maltesers and you say it's because, you had a shitty day at work, you then get all of this pent-up guilt and remorse, and it carries on. And then the next day you tend to do the same again because you've got so much emotion connected to it. If we strip everything back and we're just more straightforward people, you will struggle less. You will be able to make mistakes, draw a line, learn from it, and get cracking the next day. So if you can make less excuses, then you will be a much happier person, A, in life, but B, also doing the things that you're going to do. And you'll also view yourself very, very differently. So back in the day, I would definitely be one of those people that set my alarm at 6 a.m, 5 a.m, whatever. I was going to get up, I was going to have a run, I was going to go to the gym. And then my alarm would go off and I'd think, F it. And I'd snooze it, and then it wouldn't happen, and then I'd feel crap about myself all day long, and I'd make so many excuses as to why it didn't happen. Oh, well, I was tired yesterday, I overdid it, blah, blah, blah. And I just fundamentally started seeing myself as someone that didn't follow through on their promises, and that snowballs. Whereas once you start doing what you say you will do, and when you then start calling yourself out on it when you don't, my God, things are easier. Realistically, I probably could have written 20 things as to why women aren't making the progress that they want to, but you'd probably hate me by the end, and you'd all be totally sick of listening to me. But they are, without doubt, the 5 biggest areas that we all need to work on and build on for long-lasting results. So I don't mean flash in the pan, lose 5 kg for summer, put it back on again, but I mean change your life stuff. So if you watched this and you thought that any of this was even remotely useful, then I am going to do more of it. So feel free to subscribe to me on here. I'm on Instagram at Amy Morris Coaching, where I've got, shorter, snappier things to help women just like you.